Look familiar? Scenes like these are happening all over the galaxy right now. You could be next. That is, unless you make the most important decision of your life.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Huh? Me? Just hanging around.
What's going on, Chubube? Whoa, my camera's a little dark. Let me see if I can adjust that. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right. There we go. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Good to have you here. All right. So today we're going over Easter eggs. We're going over hidden details. We're going over quirky little fun production notes. It is going to be a good time. Heads up, if you have not watched the movie, you should probably watch the movie before watching this stream. So, if you are just now showing up, if you're watching the VOD later, if you're here right now, you are going to want to watch the movie, because this is going to be extremely spoiler heavy. So we are going to go through the whole film, and there are going to be a lot of spoilers. So that is your warning. You have been warned. And we're going to get right into it, because this is probably going to be a pretty long stream. So we're going to go through the film. I'm going to have it up, and my microphone's a little bit quiet. Tell me if that's better. Let me know if that's a better volume for my microphone. But yeah, so make sure you've seen it. Much better now. Perfect. Wonderful. But yeah, so we're gonna watch little bits of it, and then I'll pause it to talk about a little detail, an Easter egg, what have you. Some of it will be some of the nuances in the film, but I'm gonna try to keep it as close to just being about Easter eggs as possible. If you didn't know, we recently became the #1 most hyped video on YouTube. So we went from YouTube removing the film because their automaton, they got invaded by an automaton, and it struck the video down as soon as it hit 500,000 views. To explain a little bit more about what happened with that situation, what we think happened, this is all speculation, what we think happened was Sony announced their movie news, and when they did that, YouTube, just because, you know, it's going into a lot of algorithms. People are writing articles. People are making posts. Helldivers movie, Helldivers movie, Helldivers movie. And we think that YouTube's AI saw our film hit 500,000 views and was like, whoa, that's a small channel. Okay, I think we're back. All right, the automatons took over the stream for a moment. But yeah, so we're back now. But yeah, we think the YouTube's AI saw Helldivers movie in the title, saw a link to download the dubbing assets in the description, and thought it was the actual Sony Helldivers movie, and we were trying to provide a link to download that. But the Sony Helldivers movie doesn't exist yet. So it got taken down. We got it back 24 hours later, thanks to everybody kind of making a bit of a stink a bit online, which as soon as like YouTube, like real people got to look at it, it wasn't a problem at all, but it was just unfortunate that it was down for a day. So super huge. And then Pilsat, the guy, the chief creative officer, what the heck? What is up with this? What is upstream? You know what I think it is? I don't think it's the automatons at all. I think it is, we have a storm coming in, and it's supposed to snow tonight. So I think it's probably causing a little bit of an issue, but you know, it's all right. All right, so we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna get this film started. Once again, this is your final spoiler warning that if you have not seen the film, go and watch it. All right, let's get this party started. I'm going to pause it in the first 5 seconds, just in case. But the importance of Sumi will become important later in this stream. So the whole plot, I'll explain some more of it later when we get to it. But we're already getting into, there are some nuances in the film that start with this first slide. Oh, let me turn up the volume on the video a little bit.
In the face of overwhelming odds,
He stands proud. Against the swarms of enemies,
he fights with
unrelenting courage. For every citizen of Super Earth,
he rises again. He is a hero.
he is a
Patriot.
He is your ambassador.
Freedom Froyo. Liberty has never tasted this.
Fun production note, but I actually used to work for a beverage company, and that's how I kind of had a good idea of how to design some of these product shots and product boxes.
Sweet.
Now only $2.99. 99. Freedom Froyo may contain traces of dairy nuts, organic happiness, and patriotic obligation. Consume responsibly. Risk add some unpatriotic indigestion.
And now for our featured presentation.
I'm going to probably jump over these titles real quick. Oh. We'll start from here. Okay, so one thing, I don't know if you can see it super clearly. I'll point it out if it comes up. DLC is already mad at me. So in this box right here, it is not as prominently featured as, like this is one I can't say, you didn't see this Easter egg, but I'm pointing it out to you now because it was part of the production. In this box right here, there is on every map in Helldivers, there is a hidden Easter egg of this little reptile called Greg. And Greg is this really low poly, like basically like it almost looks like a snake head. And so we put him in a little box over here. After all the visual effects and everything, it's really hard to even see the box. But he does exist, and he is over there. So it's a little Greg Easter egg that is in the film, but it is quite difficult to even just see the box here. But we did add him to the map. Those are the kinds of Easter eggs we're getting into.
Let's get off this anthill!
Come on, get in. Oh, good.
So here's another fun one. This is from the game, not Astro Boy, Astrobot. It's from Astrobot when they added the Helldivers to the game. So we put a little one in the corner here because we thought it'd be a funny little thing to add. I just tilted the head to the side, put the X's on the eyes for the death screen, and then in the next screen it's just the normal one. Also, I'm going to try and point out as many of these Easter eggs as I can, but there are a lot of them that even I have forgotten at this point. So I do know that a lot of these like names or like numbers and stuff, there was this Discord server that was like a milsim server that I was in when I first started production, because I always try to get in as many communities and groups and stuff just so I can really like embed myself in the IP that I'm creating something for. And so I named a lot of these call outs or like these tags after people in that milsim group. I don't remember who any of them are because there's like a whole thing where that server got nuked, but that's anytime you see somebody's like, rank and number, it's from that group.
Oh, man. I really liked him.
Another victory in the long climb to
Subliminal messaging over here.
liberty.
Okay, so fun fact. I'm going to let the titles play for a minute. But so I sent this film, and they haven't told me I can't talk about this, so I'm going to mention it. I sent this film to Arrowhead before it came out. They wanted to have a watch party of it, and they were like all excited, and then they were like the day before, they were like, wait, when does it come out? And I was like, it comes out at like at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we both kind of had the realization in that moment of, well, if they're in Sweden, that's going to be a problem. But so I sent it to them early, but I forgot to put the titles on the film. So they got a version that didn't have titles on it. So it's a little bit funny. Hey, if you couldn't download the film, I put an update in the Discord, but there are like I put all the English subtitles in there too if you want to translate from that and then just use the film from YouTube. It's an option. I remember this was some sort of Easter egg or something specific, and I don't remember what it was for exactly. That is one that slips my mind, but I remember when we were talking about it with the writing team, it was like, oh, we should make it District 79, and I forget why I did that specifically. But this whole schoolyard scene I had basically made for 2 shots.
And that's when I pulled out my machine.
If you don't know, in Helldivers lore, they haven't brought this up in a while, but you get a pet goldfish. You're allowed to have a pet goldfish. For a long time on the channel here, we actually had a goldfish on streams and during production. Definitely want to get another one to bring it back. But yeah, so I felt it was important to include it somewhere in the film. So there you go.
And blam, blam, blam! I blew those rotten bugs away!
I want to be a Helldiver.
Mr. Helldiver, my brother is going to join Steve, and he wants you to sign his Constitution rifle.
Okay, so I've seen a couple of people point this out as weird. This is something in Helldivers lore where basically when you turn 16, you get a Constitution rifle. And so we were like, well, what's the next most ridiculous step in that? And in this case, it was, you know, bringing it to be signed on Mr. Helldiver, you know, visits day.
Sweet Liberty, I'd love to. And one day, he could be a Helldiver. And you could too. Because remember, kids, patriotism is the only way to fight fascists and cure communists.
Okay,
For
so I'm going to
managed
pause it
democracy.
right here. Once again, looking closely, there was a major order in the game. In, I think, summer of 2024. It's either late spring or early summer of 2024. But it was the Vernon Wells liberating the Children's Hospital, the Children's Hospital for Very Sick Kids, I believe it was called. So there's a little call out to that, as if they are, you know, trying to do something nice for those kids who are on that planet that needed to be liberated. And I also just want to point out in the scene too, just these wonderful kids drawings. That is a combo effort of Paper Clover Studios did the actual outline art, and then my son, who was 5 at the time, colored them in.
Sweet Liberty, there's my ride. Stay in school, kids. Oh, and thank you for the stickers.
Let's say thank you.
Fun little production, like wink wink. But if you watched through the whole film, you'll know at the end there's a series of security cameras, and we see it as early as in this scene in the schoolroom.
To Mr. Helldiver.
Ding, ding, Mr. Helldiver.
This is Pelican 1, approaching the SES Stallion of the Constitution with the cadet.
This is the name of my ship in game.
Priority alert. The Sheld system. Status. Offensive attack against automaton and terminate activity. Helldiver support requested.
You the cadet?
Yes, sir. That is me. Cadet Collins from Super Earth. I won't let you down.
Come with me. You're a part of Judgment Squad now, son.
How?
The name of Judgment Squad comes from that same Milsim group. That is the first squad I was a part of, and added it in here. And yes, this is a nod to the Helldivers 1 music here.
Oh.
Isn't that the guy from the yogurt commercial?
Yeah, I think so.
Alcubierre drive calibration.
The whole thing with the yogurt too is like that is something I feel like that's pretty well known in Helldivers lore. But there was actually, before we added the commercial at the beginning of the film, the idea was to basically release that commercial ahead of the film, which we still did, but like release it and then private that video after, like just before the film came out. So anybody who saw that ad would then watch the film, and then like they would be the only ones who kind of get this joke of them being like, isn't that the guy from the yogurt commercial? But we decided people watching in the future aren't going to be in on the joke, so we decided to put it at the beginning as well, which I think is also important for later in the film.
Complete. FTL jump successful. Arriving at the Tellus sector.
Listen up, valiant Helldivers. I just got back from the surface and it's not pretty down there.
For anybody who doesn't know, this is Evan Boymel's voice, who voiced Viper in Titanfall 2.
You all think you're ready? You might be. Some of you all might even make it out this time. The bugs and the bots have committed an abominable act. The sick and twisted metal minds of the automatons have attempted to merge their disgusting mechanical bodies with the Terminids to try and extract Element 710 from the bugs. They've conducted this undemocratic act on the planet Shelt, assumedly to create their own FTL fuel and invade Super Earth.
Say it isn't so!
Something I do want to point out, because it's very easy for me to forget, is one, we're coming up on probably one of my favorite shots in the entire film. I'll point it out when it happens. But something with this scene and a lot of these scenes that I myself forget about is because I did most of the animation, but even still, when I wasn't, like, at best, we only had like one mocap suit available. So one of our other animators, he also had a mocap suit, and was able to record stuff. But like when I'm doing this scene with 5 characters in it, I have one mocap suit, which means I have to do the scene 5 times and make sure everybody is kind of interacting and looking in the right direction. So there's actually like a lot of acting you have to do when you're doing mocap to make a scene like this work.
We cannot let this happen. Super Earth is deploying the Helldiver Corps with every possible resource to smite this foe. Your mission: identify.
This is the shot. This is one of my favorite shots in the film, and nobody's really pointed it out, so I'm going to highlight it now. Just watch the camera moves pretty continuously as it kind of goes around, but it's so well blocked that I don't think anybody really notices it.
These mad science labs and destroy it. Stick together out there, every single one of you. You wander off alone, and you'll be bug lunch or scrap metal in no time. And you, cadet, this isn't a training exercise. This is the real deal. Don't go pulling out a stratagem if you don't know where it's landing. You drop one of those things just because a baby bug brushed past you, and it's lights out for everyone. Orbital strikes aren't known for second chances. Any questions?
No, sir!
Then get out there and dispense liberty with extreme prejudice.
Engaging orbital thrusters. Orbit synchronized.
I don't think it's too much of an Easter egg to do rock, paper, scissors on the ship, but point it out just in case. Hugs and rock, paper, scissors. Gotta do it every time.
Mission coordinates locked. Helldivers to Hellpods. Repeat, Helldivers to Hellpods. Reminder, signs of disloyalty should be reported to the Democracy Officer.
I can't believe we get to golly, it's chilly in there.
Listen up, valiant Helldivers. I just got back from the surface, and it's not pretty down there.
Fun production note. The voice lines for these Helldivers back here were recorded probably a few days before this released. So that's a fun note. And then the other note with this scene in general was it was a joke we always wanted to do, but I was never confident about how it was going to land, even though I was like, I really like the joke, but I don't know if it's going to land. And there's a few jokes that we ended up cutting out of the final film. But this is one that I was like, I feel like it's going to work, but I'm not 100% sure. And seeing some people comment about how it's their favorite joke warms my heart a little bit. Okay, so this is one that I will pause on to explain a little bit of deeper lore details. So one, this is like up here, this is basically just the guy's whole speech up in here. You can see like everybody's specific names. And you know, you got this guy is currently the marshal, and then Isa is the sergeant. And as we know going into the film, because you have watched the film before, and I'm definitely not spoiling things for you, you know, he ends up dying. And then she assumes his rank. Something to note in this scene that is important later on is there's this underlying issue of Super Earth basically not having money and the Sumi Corporation bailing them out. And we're getting to that. Why only 3 slots? It is because Super Earth is running out of money and they could only afford to give them 3 stratagems. So that is something that is it's a little, there are little details like that throughout. I'm not going to point out all of them, but there are other moments where, like, the guns are pretty consistently jamming, which might feel like a movie trope at times, but it is legitimately because Super Earth is in deep financial trouble, and the Sumi Corporation is basically bailing them out. And that is why, in the first place, they're basically sending an actor, because they just need as many people as they can get down there. And Sumi believes that if he has some protections, he'll get some great footage that can be used in Froyo commercials. And he gets a couple minutes of footage,
Hellpod launch initiated.
I've seen it debated. Yes, this was a loading screen tip at one time.
Democracy has landed. Let's disperse.
Get up this hill and call down a support weapon. Let's move.
For democracy!
This shot right here, if you've seen the opening cinematic, this shot is basically ripped right out of it. It is one of those ones that I wanted to copy. I do wish I spent more time animating her stance with the gun. But the start of it, I felt like was pretty close to what they have in the opening cinematic. So there's a shot that is basically exactly like this that I always wanted in the film, and here it is. Okay, so obviously we got here the beating with the shovel. Hold up, this is a really crunchy frame. The DLC is kind of acting up. Oh, come on. All right, we're rewinding a little bit.
Get up this hill and call
but
down a support weapon. Let's move.
For democracy!
Try and pause it. Okay, so a couple things in this frame. One, by the time we were animating this shot, or coming up on animating it, it's funny you left a comment about the magazines, because we do have some Easter eggs of not including them on purpose because of the issue with the opening cinematic. So we saw the shovel and we were like, we've got to add that for sure. And that's where this shot kind of came from. But there was another thing that I realized through all the storyboarding, all the writing, all these different things that we put into the film. I was like, hold up. We were getting into animation. We were well into animation actually at this point. I was like, wait a second. In a movie about Helldivers, one of the core mechanics of diving out of the way isn't in the film. And so I added this guy back here, just randomly jumping and diving. So it is the only instance of somebody going head first into a dive. And I thought it would be funny just to add him in the background of this already ridiculous shot.
Freedom is non-negotiable!
Fun little call out that I'll make. You might notice that in previous trailers and promotions, this guy had red crosses on him. And then I found out that's a big no-no. So in like the final hours of getting the film ready, I decided I was like, how do I quickly address this? And in DaVinci Resolve, I used the color page just to go through and basically mask out and change the color of the crosses. I had no idea until somebody pointed it out on Reddit, and then I was like, oh, that's not good. And I was like, well, this is just like a free film on YouTube. But then I looked into it more. I was like, nope, this is like a pretty big deal. So I changed them all to green.
Target down, switching to 110. So long, clankers. Path clear.
That's another emote in the game. That's just like a fun. Tried to look for ways to include as many emotes as possible.
Cadet, call down a sentry.
I did take the time to make sure that when they punched in stratagems, it was the correct stratagem style. Also, in this shot, you see there's a sample rock back here, and there is actually, it is tough to see like after the lighting and the color grade, but there is a guy that is, I went and I just found like a stock like picking apples animation, and I just put him back there. I should have put him like over here a little bit more. But I think I actually had this shot in like a complete, like I think I had the camera in a different position and you could see him better. And then I ended up moving the camera, and I forgot to move the guy. So, but there is a guy back there picking up super samples.
Copy that. Sending down equipment packages.
Bugs! Northwest! He's too heavily armored!
Then hit them in the weak spot.
That's another game tip. I don't think it's in the game anymore, but basically like it's like refer to your guide, or something like that, or in your training manual. It basically tells you like to hit armored enemies in their weak spots. So that would be a funny line to add here. Okay. Also, I'll mention it because I've seen a lot of people talk about it. I forgot to mention it when that first hell pod landed. But no, you're not crazy. There are a lot of Titanfall sounds in here because I'm a sucker for Titanfall. Me and Wasp Optic, who also did a lot of sound design on the film, are huge Titanfall fans. So yes, when there are so many like atmospheric pops and Titanfall, you know, landing sounds, obviously mixed in with other Hellpod sounds and different like debris and stuff. But yes, there are a plethora of Titanfall sounds, especially because of how down to the wire the sound came. We were staying up all night the nights before working on the sound. And yeah, so there's a number of them just because we were like, we know they sound good and they will fit in perfectly.
Napalm is my favorite kind of pesticide. Kill them all!
Cadet, get set to reload me.
Oh, yes, copy.
I feel like this is the most in-demand thing I've seen since the film has come out. This isn't necessarily an Easter egg or anything, but now everybody's like, let us team reload without having to wear the backpack. So if that ends up in the game, I'm calling it now. It's because of the movie.
Look at us go. I'm doing my part for Super Earth.
You sure are, Cadet. I can almost see the freedom shining from your eyes, and it's liberating.
I am a Helldiver! You hear that? I'm a...
Not as much of an Easter egg, but my goodness, the amount of time that we had to keep this moment under wraps was so difficult. And in all the promos and everything, and even like swapping, like re-rendering him in a couple different shots, it was so important, so crucial to keep this hidden. I feel like there were people like who would pick up on the fact that maybe the cadet doesn't make it through the whole thing, but I don't think anybody expected him to go out this way. And this is a direct reference to in the Kong Skull Island movie, when the guy goes out to, like, you know, be a hero, and he goes out with the 2 grenades and he's like, "Oh, come get me!" And then the giant dinosaur thing just whips him with his tail and sends him into a cliff, and he explodes. That's what this is, except for I wanted to make in here, I wanted to make the cliff look the way that I wanted the cliff to look in that movie, which was just basically like a giant zit popping on the cliff.
We've got an impaler.
Impaler? I hardly...
For anybody who was watching the cast and crew live stream, or the cast and crew read through on the live stream we were doing when the film was taken down, you would have seen this moment. But there was quite a few women cheering when this line was read and his subsequent death followed.
Oh, sweet liberty.
Not as much of like a Easter egg, but just a cool film detail. And one of the cool things about Unreal Engine was they introduced, I'm not going to go off on too much of a tangent, but there is this new thing in Unreal Engine called motion matching, which is basically just a better way of being able to predict which animation should play next. And this shot of her running across the terrain, it's a blend of a number of things. But one of them was basically just having a character actually run across this terrain and then mapping that animation to her character model, so that it could actually run a decent distance. And then it blends into a new animation. And then when she gets blown up, that is like a transitional animation. But
Helldiver, you are in range of enemy artillery. Watch where you're standing.
that is the I feel like it doesn't happen as much anymore, but like it used to be very common in the game where you would get blown up by automaton artillery and then the ship would say that.
You have got to be kidding me.
Get the asset to safety. I'll handle this.
Go smoke 'em.
So this is another two quick production notes. One, because I feel like I wasn't able to communicate it as well through here. But these are basically so he doesn't have to reach down and reload the railgun when he goes to do it. It's basically like loading individual shots. But there's also my decision to use a smoke Eagle smoke strike is because that thing used to be the bee's knees. It's still pretty decent for confusing enemies, but man, a smoke strike actually used to be pretty goated. And they nerfed it. I don't know why they would nerf the smoke strike, but alas.
On me, Zyber.
My Iron Man landing. Another. So I'll point it out here, but another just fun production note. This is a shot that I always wanted in the film, but when it came time to start figuring everything out, I was like, if I had to animate this by myself, I probably couldn't do it as a one shot. I'd probably have to split it up into a bunch of, mini shots. And so that's how I planned for it. And then this one guy joined the team, and he's incredible animator. And he was actually able to take my idea, my direction, and like nail what I always wanted it to be. And it looks so cool.
Who is that?
We call him the veteran. He's lasted longer than any other Helldiver I know.
And how long is that?
9 patriotic minutes. Woo.
Obviously, this has become a pretty popular joke from the film. And like it speaks to the Helldiver experience, but this was the first joke that was written for the film. I had like a whole like note in my phone of like different jokes for Helldivers that I was thinking about before I started writing the script, and this was the first joke that I had written.
Sweet liberty.
500 inbound. Unleashing democracy.
Marshal 5531 of Judgment Squad?
Me? No. I'm a sergeant.
It says here your previous marshal was unceremoniously vanquished by automaton forces when you landed. That makes you the new marshal until you die or I find someone better.
That is a reference to Starship Troopers directly. So it's a quote from the film, just slightly altered for the context of this scene.
Ooh, congrats on the promotion.
Thanks, but why am I important?
You're not.
Oh.
He does have the spill oil insignia on his forearm. I see. Is it DCPTF2 asking? Yes.
Don't take it personally. He takes a bit to warm up to.
I don't think we even warmed up to him.
You haven't. And your squad is what's important. You were tasked with locating a POI, correct?
Yes. Something about an automaton lab where they're experimenting on...
Sounds like classified info. Our new orders are to get the asset to that POI.
Yup. We just took care of a power relay. I pulled the lever.
I'll point out what happened to the medic when it happens, but I see so many people talking about that. And I always thought it was a blatantly obvious shot, but I guess not. I'll point it out when it happens, though.
Another one bites the dust. Eagle 1 leaving combat zone and rearming. Viva.
Comms are down too. We aren't getting anywhere until that automaton artillery and jammer is taken out.
Don't you think that's risky?
You tell me, Marshal.
Yeah, we should probably take that out.
What's a POI?
I think it means Patriotic Ordnance Indicator.
Oh. Sounds important.
Obviously, there are POIs in game, but I thought that would be a funny joke to, add a nod to it.
The assault against the enemy forces has been successful. There have been minimal friendly casualties, and the advance continues forward. The enemy appears to be using a jammer to inhibit communications, but I am confident the Helldivers will swiftly emancipate our radios.
Exceptional performance. Your intrepid contribution.
I used for the film. I know some of our sound designers used other tools. I think one of them used Logic or Pro Tools, but I used Fairlight in DaVinci Resolve. But as far as what this is and all that, it's supposed to be super with high command. I know I saw a lot of people asking if it was Joel specifically. I guess you can, there can be some audience lore that maybe it is, the Joel. But I thought it'd be a cool way to represent this. Kind of as a character, something kind of unique and a little bit different. A bit of a callback to movies like iRobot, but without a face. But something that this was actually based on, that I saw a lot of people commenting with, the idea of this was kind of based on the voting machines in Helldivers lore, where it's basically like, your voting machine takes all of your preferences and then votes for you, and that makes it totally like you're totally so I thought it'd be kind of funny to show that here. And as far as how I got this effect, this is done in Unreal Engine. Oh, hold up, stream crashed again. Okay, we're back. Looks like we're back. But as far as how I did the effect, this is done in Unreal Engine. Basically, before, like, I basically made an audio visualizer, and basically before I rendered it out, I basically used a pass of the audio file that was just the actor's voice of Super Earth High Command, and then that caused it to only react when that guy was speaking, which gave it this effect.
On the battlefield will significantly augment our ongoing campaign to proliferate the ideals of managed democracy as your designated unit successfully ascertained the precise coordinates of the Automaton Experimental Research Facility.
They are continuing their operation to locate it, and I will report its discovery as soon as they do.
Commendable. The perpetuation of Super-Earth's strategic hegemony cannot afford the potential repercussions of failure in this operation. The ultimate destiny of the galaxy is inexorably tethered to its success.
We shall not fall into the diabolical clutches of the enemy.
Check that starboard wing and make sure it's holding. And get some more 500 kilograms down here ASAP. Let's move, people!
Hey, Chuck, what's going on down there?
This guy back here is just a stock dealing cards animation, which I just think is so funny, because like you don't really pay attention to him, but as soon as you notice him, you can't unsee it.
Comms cut as I was pulling out of the airspace.
No clue! I heard it might be the clankers with a radar jammer.
Might be. Aren't they always? What do we know?
Beats me. They're getting better at hiding the fabs. You stay safe out there.
They can't hit what they can't see.
Disconnect that hose. Get her airborne. Eagle set.
Bridge to Eagle 1. Atmospheric reports indicate clear skies with minimal interference. You are clear for launch.
I will say I've gotten a couple of answers of like, why didn't I do like the Legionnaire with like the default helmet? Why is it the Drone Master helmet? And this is where you get the rule of cool, because I think this is the coolest armor combo in the game. So that's why.
Baby.
Okay, I gotta point it out. This guy right here. This little guy falling out. Everybody's always asking, is that a reference to the glitch where you could fall through the Super Destroyer? And it became one. So in this scene, when the Hell Pod comes out and goes down, it is supposed to emit a particle system. And that particle system broke. And so it basically like rendered out for a brief moment, just going down at the start of the shot. And then when I was compositing it, because I'm basically replacing like everything in the background, because it looks kind of doo-doo straight out of Unreal, the way I had it set up. Could probably do it a lot better now, but like at the time I was just like, I'll just composite differently later. But when I was using my compositing passes, I was like, wait a second. It looks like a little guy falling out. And then everybody latched onto that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to canonize it. That is that will be the guy falling out of the ship. So I left it in there because I thought it was funny. I didn't think anybody would notice it. And then as soon as the trailer dropped, everybody pointed it out. And I was like, well, I guess it's a thing now. And what's so funny and weird is that the particles look like a person. I don't even know why they're shaped like that. But it was kind of funny. And I was like, it's a nice little nod to that glitch.
Ready to liberate.
Wilhelm scream, of course. And then coming up next, the reference animation for what's next. And I'm so glad this landed for people, but it was a Mortal Kombat animation that I had in the storyboards of the neck breaking, and that's what I used as a reference to animate it.
Oh, I can't liberate with this broken neck.
This was a moment that was actually written later in the film. This is how the guy with the peace helmet was supposed to die. And we opted to change his death entirely. But I still wanted to use, I was like, well, getting like, chainsawed is pretty brutal. And how can you play with that? And I think for this, I forget how I originally had this guy die, but I ended up swapping it out for he gets the chainsaw death.
Next!
Copy. Calling in reinforcements.
We've got more enemies inbound! And this antenna holding...
Okay, so everybody sees it when he says, this antenna holding job has a severe accident rate. And he points down. He's pointing at the medic. He did get off-screened. There was a bit more of a joke written in here, and you can almost kind of see it here. That like just like animation-wise and timing and everything, it wasn't working as well as I wanted it to. But like in the storyboards, it was a little bit more clear. But it was basically like you would just see like an arm dangling off of it, and he would say the line, and then the camera would look down and see the guy on the ground. But just when it got to the actual animation and everything and the pacing of the scene, it worked better just to cut to this shot. And so that's where he is. He was holding the antenna first, and that's why this guy's freaking out so much, because he just watched him get killed.
Job has a severe accident rate.
Just hold it. It's the only comms we've got.
Helldiver reporting to the front.
That is the Great Mrs. Coalition. And fun little thing that I found out later that I didn't know was an Easter egg until I got some word. But this was actually going to be a function in the game where you could get carried off by the Shriekers. That ended up getting cut out. But I think it's funny that we added it in because it was going to be like a whole host of jokes. Basically, there's going to be one point where like this kind of joke about reinforcing was going to be a much more extensive joke where it would just be like, like the stratagem ball goes up, one person lands, and then it was just like repeat, cut, people dying in different ways.
Starting to think this is a terrible idea.
You've got a better plan. This makeshift antenna's our best shot.
I'm inclined to disagree.
Hold on. I've got something.
What is it?
A faint energy signal. Due west.
It's a faulty hell bomb. Give me your autocannon.
What? That's at least 200 meters.
Looks like I'll be getting my cardio in. When it blows, you two storm that jammer. Understood?
Anything to ditch this antenna gig.
There's no way we're making it without you.
You're probably right. But you could be wrong. Be wrong.
The amount of comments that I see that the people just being like, the veteran is an aura farming quote machine. It's so funny, and I'm so glad it lands just because like scenes like that, like I'm so happy that the way it was written came across in the final film.
Come on, let's get inside. What are we looking for in here?
There should be a terminal up top. It should give us override access to the jammer and...
That shot took me an unreasonable amount of time to animate, and I was so mad at myself for doing it, because I was like, I'm always trying to think of ways of like, how do I enhance like something? So like originally she was just going to say this line, and it was just going to be like, you know, shoot up, shoot up, shoot up. And then they say the line. And then like when I was doing the mocap, I was like, you know what? I feel like it would be cooler if she does a reload partway through. And so I opted to add the reload in. And I did the mocap take like probably 20 to 30 times to get it right. And then I was like, okay, that feels pretty good. And then I went in to animate it, and I was like, this is the worst decision I've ever made.
Artillery.
Oh, dibs on the terminal. Called it.
What's the terminal status?
Got it synced. Punching in the override code now.
Okay, well, try to keep it down. I think...
I'm in. Delivering digital democracy.
Something is in there. We need to get going.
What is it? I'm still trying to establish comms.
Whatever it is, the automatons decided to lock it up.
Wait a second.
What's happening?
The radio jammer. It's not from the bots.
What?
It's not the automatons. Someone else is...
Okay. I'm going to point it out here. So we really scored when we made this, because we didn't know when the Illuminate were going to be added to the game. We knew they were going to come over at some point from the first game, but we didn't know when, and we didn't know when we were going to finish the film or anything. And we had written this like months before the Illuminate were added. And so it was always going to kind of be like a... Like, there was always going to be the idea of, oh, the like somebody else, well, there's only one other faction aside from the bugs and the bots, Super Earth, like at the time. It's like, yeah, this is going to be like a little softball pitch to the audience of like, that's what's going on. Yep, you got us. Right? Then they added the Illuminate to the game and like all their radio jamming and foreign radio jamming techniques. And it ended up working perfectly, especially with the amount of like, you know, little things with like, you know, the cadet, for example, being like propped up as a main character and then being taken out of the movie 10 minutes in. And it was stuff like that where I feel like this works so much better because it kind of opens the door to, oh, it must be the Illuminate, and it takes the attention off of Super Earth, which is kind of the whole point of the movie.
Sweet liberty!
It's hideous! comms back up?
I'm working on it. It's being jammed by something else.
Then fix it. We need to get out of here.
Hey, thank you for saving my life. Again.
Save your gratitude for Super Earth. My duty is to the mission. Those comms cleared up?
95%!
That was a freebie. Eagle is back from the nest.
Comms are back!
Throwing out an orbital.
380 orbital barrage incoming. Enjoy the show.
I'm going to say it right here. I am so happy with how this music cue turned out. This was composed by Deanna Del Toro, who, just as a little plug, the soundtrack drops tomorrow morning, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, the transition from the automaton theme to the Super Earth National Anthem is just so perfect. It sounds so good. Mad Dog, it's actually kind of funny you say that because there are so many more jokes that were added to the film, or like just in like the initial script or even just in my list of things. And it was always like little things like that. And we tried to jam as many as we could in, but anytime they didn't fit, we were just like, we got to cut it. We got to cut it out. But, yeah, there were a lot of little jokes like that, you know, would have been pretty good. So there's definitely more room to explore.
For managed democracy!
For managed democracy!
Our forward momentum remains unyielding in the face of opposition. We continue our advance with unwavering resolve, having acquired critical intelligence regarding the precise locations of our primary search and destroy objectives. However, an anomalous situation has arisen. We have lost communications with Judgment Squad, which was tasked with pinpointing the laboratory where the automatons are conducting their grotesque mechanical experiments on the Terminid species. One of my Helldivers has reported that the radar jamming devices is not of automaton origin. Nevertheless, they succeeded in re-establishing communications and transmitted a singular repugnant image substantiating our suspicions. The automatons are indeed experimenting on the bugs.
This intelligence is deeply concerning. We will commence an immediate inquiry into the anomalous radar jammer and maintain vigilant oversight of the situation. The citizens of Super Earth are entitled to comprehend the undemocratic depravity of these abhorrent entities. Disseminating evidence such as this reconnaissance photograph will be integral to advancing our noble mission.
Oh. I was trying to remember. I was like, what's the Easter egg here? I can't remember it. What's the Easter egg? What's the Easter egg? This GPS coordinate is significant. I'll say that. I'll say that. You can look it up. You can look up what it is. But that is an Easter egg in the film. I can't remember if any of this other text is. I don't think so. I think that's the only one that's Easter egg related.
of purging the galaxy through the propagation of managed democracy.
How do they even know what the other is saying when they use such big words like that?
The superiority of managed democracy leaves no room for minced words.
Related developments, we are experiencing substantial escalations of enemy activity from Jin Chi in the Hydra sector. The recent raid on Shelt has culminated in a decisive victory. Yet the strategic redistribution of resources.
Thank you, What
across
Bananas?
the
That's
galaxy
awesome. Thank you
is
so much.
imperative. 12 super destroyers shall remain stationed at Shelt.
12. That accounts for a mere 6% of the fleet currently stationed here.
Somebody asking why there's a democracy officer. This is exactly why. It was always just kind of assumed that there would always be one person like above, you know, somebody else to keep things in line, in check. But to also bring up a little bit of the nuance and stuff in here. So up to this, we are going to go on a bit of a lore rant for the film. Okay. This Truth Enforcer, who are they? What are they doing? Right. Let me drink a little bit of water. So, Puller, the main commander, he's losing like basically the entire fleet, right? So he's losing a lot of Helldivers, a lot of resources. He, as far as he knows, he just needs to carry out this mission of destroy this base, protect this squad. Super Earth wants this squad protected. Well, who was in this squad initially? Who was brought into it, right? The cadet. He was brought into it. And kind of like what I mentioned earlier, was there's Super Earth is going through some financial trouble. Sumi bails them out, which is the company that sponsors the yogurt ad at the very beginning. Sumi bails them out and is like, hey, like, we'll do it. You need to allocate some resources to protect this guy so he can go in wearing our armor representing us and go and do, you know, the whole thing, make him look like the hero, right? Then he dies. Sumi gets pretty upset and threatens to pull funding resources out the window. There's probably some backdoor conversations happening that you can't fit into a 50-minute fan film because it just makes it too long and we'd never get it done. So they have this guy, the Truth Enforcer, and the reason that he is a little bit blue and purple in a combination with black and white is because, or she, you never know, but they are a Sumi representative. They are there to make sure that the narrative stays intact because they are there to represent the brand. And so as soon as Puller starts questioning, like, you know, don't take my resources, that's bad. That's why there's a bit of this tension here. And basically, like, Super Earth is trying to reallocate resources because they're at risk of losing all this additional money from Sumi. And Sumi needs to keep the narrative intact because the only thing that they have going for them at this point is that they might be able to salvage this operation to sell more Froyo. Which is why later on, which again, you should not be here if you haven't seen the film. So if you have not seen the film, please stop watching at this very moment and go and watch it before you watch this stream. But if you watch like the end campaign ad, basically they turn her image into a special edition Froyo based on the way her armor looks, and that is assumedly the okay, we have enough to salvage, we're gonna upsell this special edition yogurt, and like Super Earth still gets like some funding. that's part of the reason behind some of this Super Earth is backing out situation. So lots of deep lore. It can just appear very surface level and like we're just breezing through it, and that's really all you need for the story. But that is the deeper lore behind it going on. There's a lot more political jargon.
Your immediate concerns do not supersede the broader imperatives of the galaxy. It is strongly advised that Judgment Squad be extracted and redeployed. Given your latest intelligence concerning the laboratory's location, your efforts must adhere to stringent strategic protocols, leaving no margin for error. Conserve your faster-than-light fuel reserves and judiciously allocate your reinforcement budgets.
Your compliance is expected, Commander.
Notify Judgment Squad.
I'll point it out at the end. The specific design. We'll get to that.
Find the nearest extraction zone to their position and bring them back to the SES Stallion of the Constitution.
Also, Mad Dog. That is actually another little hidden thing. In the original squad, they sent the blue armored guy down with another. He had another squad mate that was in yellow armor, which represents another famous dairy product that could have also been salvaged, but alas, that dairy product was split in half. That dairy product has more holes than Swiss cheese right now.
It will be an honor, sir.
This is another one of my favorite shots in the film, just because it's so pretty. I love the way that it looks.
Democracy. Just a handful of samples. Nothing else to report. Ready to keep moving?
Yep, was just taking 2.4 seconds to enjoy the scenery.
Another loading screen tip. 2.4 seconds to enjoy the scenery.
Looks like we're most likely to find the lab if we head that way.
And the comms?
Still spotty. It comes in and out, but it should clear up once we get up that ridge.
Let's sure hope so. Use munitions conservatively and you're killing liberally. Every bullet fired is a freedom seed planted in the hearts of our enemies.
Another loading screen tip. I'm pretty sure. I think that one is.
Copy that, muchacho.
Hey, so what was the deal with that bug anyway?
What are you talking about?
The bug back at the outpost? It almost seemed like it was...
None of our business, Diver.
None of our business? That thing was half clanker. Seems like it might be some of our business.
If it's not the mission, it doesn't matter.
But it is the mission.
Yep. Sorry, stream disconnected. We back.
Aren't you two my squad now?
If we didn't hear it from Super Earth, then there's no reason for us to know. We were reassigned to escort you. Your objective is classified.
Well, how do you know it's classified?
That's classified.
Oh, come on, man. I thought we were friends.
Never said we were friends.
Then what are we?
We're a team, and we've got to start acting like one. My former squad mates and I, we all had a pact to trust each other.
And where are they now, Marshal?
Helldivers live forever. Super Earth believes the automatons are modifying the bugs. It's unclear why, but the only logical reason is to create war machines and extract E710 faster than we can.
To make what? FTL fuel?
Likely, which is why this mission is critical.
So you just weren't gonna tell me about this?
No.
Copy that. Not friends.
Friends or not, Super Earth is counting on us.
And that's enough reason to...
Oh, no. This is all wrong. The bugs, the bots. We were wrong about them. They're just trying to protect their homes.
You're spouting an awful lot of treachery for someone in range of liberation.
I got that from a Reddit comment.
It's just what they want you to believe. Don't trust them. We aren't the good guys.
That sounds like automaton reprogramming to me, sir. Managed democracy has no place for treason, son.
Okay. Oh, I paused it at just the perfect moment. It's perfect. Chicago, it's perfect. So if you look here, this is a little nod to the ending. There's little tentacles sticking out of his nose. There's some, baby, you got something in your nose. So there's that. There's some irritation on his neck and some irritation on his eye. So, and yeah, the neck is disconnected. I know better than anybody else. Trust me, because I spent a ton of time trying to get it fixed, and it was terrible problems. But you know, you win some and you lose some. Trust me. Anytime there is an issue, it is probably because it literally wouldn't render anymore. But yeah, so there's an illuminate tentacle sticking out of his nose. Also, this scene, the way that it's shot here for this part, I had to completely rebuild it because I was trying to use some tech in Unreal Engine that was still buggy, and it wouldn't let me render out different passes of things, and so I had to completely scrap this map and rebuild it from the ground up.
Was that friendly fire? Wasn't nothing friendly about it. We need to keep moving.
Oh, look at that. Comms are back. Oh, and just so you know, I am very...
Watch out!
Don't!
Reload.
Stratagems ready. Eagles and sentries first.
Copy that, Marshal.
Huh?
Okay. So, fun little fact. The reason that these guys have skulls painted on the front of their helmets, an upside down skull, is because one of the way back in high school, one of the first like decent decently viewed fan films that I had made was a Punisher movie with my friends that got ridiculed by a bunch of Redditors, guys online, who were like, you guys are too, like, the Punisher is like clearly a kid, and it was like, we're all kids. But I thought it'd be a nice nod back to that. And then the rest of the helmets are actually constructed from pieces from Titanfall 2 helmets that are kind of kit bashed onto them just to beef it up some more. Obviously, this was before the AMR got nerfed, but the AMR did used to be this decent. And the song is it's Blood on the Risers, which is a paratrooper song from World War II. And it's just been Helldiverized, just with our own lyrics that make it specifically about fighting, bugs and bots. Look how cool this shot is, though. It's only up for a second. I forget like how cool it actually looks, though. It's a pretty sick looking shot.
Let's clear their landing zone and unplug these bots. Aye, aye. You two, stand back. We'll handle this.
This is a reference to Hacksaw Ridge, where basically the mortars stop working, so they start priming the mortar rounds on like ammo boxes and stuff. There are a lot of because basically the way that I do my storyboards is I draw out a lot of them, but anytime where I'm like I have an idea from a specific movie. Like for example, a lot of shots of Eagle 1 are just like shots from Top Gun in my storyboards. And so this was like, them doing the hitting it and hucking them. But I was like, it would be so much cooler with a cluster bomb round, because it's so much funnier to be holding something that is that volatile and then just hucking it. That shot, it was always in, like the idea. I always wanted a shot of decapitating a bot with, the ballistic shield. But it was originally just going to be like basically just like two hands, like on either side and just like pushing it in. But then the animator, when I was like, this is the shot, it's a bot getting decapitated with a ballistic shield. And then he like sends this whole thing where there's a little bit of a struggle and pushing down and then and chopping off the head. And there are a couple of animations in here from that animator specifically, where I was like, you made it too good. Now the whole animation needs to be in the film because it looks too good. Another Titanfall 2 reference. This is the Legion execution. Again, it was in the storyboards like this. And it is a redemption from New Frontiers. There were so many things that I wanted to do in Titanfall New Frontiers that I didn't get to do because I wasn't, I was the only one doing animation, and I was still learning a lot of things about animation. Still am. This was by that same animator who did the ballistic shield shot. But I was like, there needs to be a redemption of what we couldn't do in Titanfall New Frontiers by putting a Titanfall 2 execution in it. And it's gotta be, I mean, they're all very cool, but I feel like the Legion one is the most brutal and the coolest. And I was like, what a better way to show off how badass these guys are if he picks up a berserker with his guns and unloads on him with the drones. Makes it too perfect. Everybody wants this in game now too, which I wouldn't be opposed to. I think if you are bringing the AMR or any sniper rifle, you should be able to mount it on your ballistic shield. Little 300 action there.
Keep slinging lead to steel, boys. That's what I signed up for.
That was less of a joke of like it's less of a direct reference, and it's more so I wanted to have in the film. There's always that cheesy line in action movies or war movies where like somebody's like, I didn't sign up for this. And I wanted it to be the opposite, where they're like, you know, keep slinging lead to steel, boys. That's what I signed up for. It's the exact opposite, because that is what these guys are into. They just want to be on the battlefield and ripping apart bots.
Killing is our business. And business is good.
That is a reference to the funniest military movie ever made. I will not make any exceptions. It is from the movie Major Payne. So there's actually an earlier one too that I forgot to mention when Puller is briefing the squad, and he says, then get out there and dispense liberty with extreme prejudice. That is a reference to the kid, the kid is complaining about there being a monster in his closet, so Major Payne just pulls out his sidearm and shoots into the closet. And he's like, if he's in there now, he ain't happy. And then like the kid comes out and he was like, Major Payne just disposed of the monster in my closet with extreme prejudice. So that's what this is a reference to as well, is Major Payne has... Now, I like Tropic Thunder, but Major Payne, I don't know, it holds a special place in my heart. Chugga, 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 chugga. Toot, toot. But this is another line from Major Payne. Killing is he says, killing is my business, and business is good. Also, another beautiful set of music cues that by Valkenix, who also voices the main Helldivers. She did the music composition for this scene.
Rockets, out!
Another fun Easter egg and fun fact. Way back when I was writing the script, and there was like a Discord message that popped up from the official Helldivers Discord. They were announcing something, probably a major order or something, but they called them socialist toasters. And I was like, that needs to be in the movie. So it was added.
Permission granted. Pelican 1 arriving in T-minus 30 seconds.
You know, in a way, you comment rockers, the peace sign on the helmet is a little bit of a nod to Full Metal Jacket. Maybe not like blatantly, but that guy who died earlier.
I'm out.
Same. Well, that's no good. Take these. Ugh.
That's another joke that I'm glad people like. That's no good. Take these. And the fact that this guy just has 2 more machine guns to spare. I don't know if anybody noticed the little Godzilla sound. Godzilla right there. This is a little production fun fact. So the stratagem balls being thrown and landing, the less about the being thrown, but when they land on the ground. So there's the shot in the first battle scene. Well, not the first battle scene. The one where they all, like, everybody's landed on the planet. I had done the simulations and animations for those ones initially, and it was such a pain in the butt. And I got so sick of it, and I had like a couple of extra like variants of that. So every time you see a stratagem ball land, it is just that same, unless I animate it by hand. But anytime it actually like rolls and does stuff like that, it's just the same animation from a different angle retimed because it was such a pain in the butt to do. But yeah, it ended up looking pretty good.
Reinforcing! Aim for the head! I say again, aim for the head of the Bio-Titan!
Copy that. Command dispatch to incoming reinforcements.
Okay, so this is another thing that I maybe somebody's commented on it, and I haven't seen it, but this is something that you could very easily gloss over, but like is something that I was thinking about while writing this. When I was in those initial drafts, but I was like, okay, if she calls in reinforcements because I'm going to do the thing where you decapitate the Bile Titan by landing on it. That's something that I want to add. I'm like, okay, so like, are we going to cut back inside and see, like two Helldivers getting on their Hellpods and whatnot? And I was like, well, that takes a long time. There's a problem with that. If every time you called in reinforcements, you had to wait for somebody to come out and run over, get on the Hellpod, pick their loadout, and drop in for you, that's a lot of time. And obviously there are things that there are gameplay things that is just like, you're just dropping in with your same loadout you had before, and whatever. But I was like, if you needed reinforcements that quickly, they aren't waking you up. They are putting you in. You are getting in the Hellpod. You're not even coming out of your cryostasis pod. They're just dropping that thing in there, and they're waking you up on the way down. So, and because of the way that Helldivers are, the best way you could possibly wake up is knowing you're going into battle. And that is the best way to just be brainwashed on your way in. So I was like, it's pretty grim for sure, but I thought it was a neat little detail to add in here.
Pelican closing in.
This was another one of those shots where the animator who did it just spent a lot of time on it. And when he sent it back to me, I was like, this is just too good to not use. So it ended up being a whole 20 or 30 second shot, however long it is.
Helldiver, reporting to the front.
And ready to liberate.
Showing up at the last second just to take all of the credit?
This truly is the military-industrial complex.
My favorite joke. That is the peak of my joke writing right there. I showed it to my dad back when we had just recorded with the VAs. So it was round one of recording with the VAs, and I was putting together a radio edit and getting ready to make storyboards and everything. And I played it back for my dad. I was like, hey, is this funny? He's like, what is it? I set up the joke for him. I was like, they're calling in new recruits. They're showing up. They're running back. And that's kind of the setup for the scene. And I played the scene back for him, and he's usually pretty critical. He's, he was in the military for 31 years, pretty hard guy. And, this played back and he heard this joke and he laughed for an uncomfortable amount of time. For somebody who was in the military for 31 years, he was laughing a little too hard at this joke.
Pelican 1 landing in progress. Watch where you're standing.
Everyone on! Go, go! No!
Nice little for the Bushwhacker fans.
Protect the asset.
No matter the cost.
Good luck, class.
Wait! Get on the ship!
I missed the opportunity to lay waste to the enemy? Not a chance.
Extraction complete. Shuttle lift off. Buckle up back there. We're getting off this rock.
I'm glad you like that line. This was actually like a last minute thing, and it's really hard to tell on YouTube, which is unfortunate. YouTube just like compresses it a ton. I can see it perfectly fine on here. But like basically like having the camera vibrating so fast, because like if it was on the ship, that's what the footage would probably look like, especially if they're trying to have it be stable. You know, there would be just like the vibration of the ship. So you can see it like where it says like, you know, lock and everything here. It's a neat little detail. It kind of gets lost in YouTube compression, but it does. I'm very happy with how it looks.
Oh, wow. Only 6 casualties. That's not too bad. None of them were W4s.
The W4 reference, that is a reference to me and Modin 31 playing Helldivers way back when production first started, and we were streaming it, and this random we were playing with, he was W4 and he had a terrible habit of team killing, lots of friendly fire, and so I was like, you know what, I am going to immortalize this guy in the film. And this is where his reference ended up.
No friendly fire is always a good thing. So I say, mission accomplished.
Victory was never in doubt.
Ah, victory.
Love this shot.
Helldivers, your valiant efforts have allowed us to pinpoint the precise position of the target objective. We must act fast. Resources from our initial drop have been distributed across the galaxy, and we cannot afford failure on this mission. Munitions are low, and reinforcements are tight. But I know there isn't a squad more capable than all of you present. You are our only hope. Are you ready?
Why am I so important?
Because you're a Helldiver. Fly our colors when it's taken.
Where are we dropping?
And what are we doing? I don't think we...
Classified.
Restock and prepare yourselves. Democracy presses on.
Hellpods primed.
The light of liberty is counting on you, Helldivers. May your advance be swift, your tenacity be fierce, and your weapons be deadly. Go forth and bring an end to this tyranny.
Launch initiated.
Another thing everybody wants from the game, or in the game now from the movie, the drop-in with Eagle One. All right. Popping up out of the hell pods like this is actually a reference to Helldivers 1. Basically, in the first game, your character climbs out of the hell pod, which gives the impression that they never go up, and they never elevate the player like they do in Helldivers 2. And I was like, okay, well, what if you just played with that idea a little bit, where it's like they're already in the ground, they have their own foxhole, you know, and if they're landing in front of the base, it doesn't really make all sense. It doesn't make sense for all four of them to all of a sudden just pop up out of the ground and be targets, you know, staying close to the ground next to all this cover until Eagle One can fly in and, you know, provide some cover is certainly more ideal. And so that is what it's based off of, is in Helldivers 1. That was a thing, and is kind of showcased here. I absolutely fell in love with doing these VFX shots of the coming off, like the jet streams coming off when she's in low altitude and re-entering.
Support packages inbound.
How about a nice cup of liberty?
Also, another Easter egg I forgot to mention earlier. This was so long ago, but I'm just now remembering it. I always try to hide. I always try to hide an M1 Garand ping, reload ping in my films. And so there's one when they're reloading the autocannon and the cadet shoves the clip in. When he does that, there's an M1 Garand ping hidden in there.
This ought to pack a punch.
Another Titanfall. That's the tone lock-on sound effect.
Oh, nice. They're still coming though.
Calling an orbital EMS strike.
Yes, Marshal.
Copy that. Orbital EMS strike on the way.
Another underrated stratagem, but one that also got nerfed for absolutely zero reason because nobody brings it in the first place. But like having the orbital EMS strike, I typically use the orbital EMS mortar against bots, but like the fact that they ever nerf this will never make sense to me. But the EMS strike, I wanted to showcase stratagems that aren't often used but do have a purpose, but that they nerf for whatever reason. It doesn't do anything lethal.
Eagle One requesting a 500 kilo on the target. You're cleared hot.
Roger, Dodger. Coming in hot. And stay down. I'm hit. Endozoid 3 offline. Situation critical. I'm going down. Repeat, going down.
11, hammer that tank.
This is this is pulled inspiration from Fury. I'd watched that movie for the first time. I hadn't seen it. I've had the DVD forever because I picked it up at like a $5 bin at Walmart at one point. I was like, I need to watch this at some point, and just didn't for a long time. And then while I was working on the development of this, I was finally like, sorry, we're back now. OBS crashed again, but it should be back. We should be back and rolling. Yep, there we go. We're back. But I was like seeing a couple of things. One, the green tracers, I appreciated in Fury. And then the other one was like when they shoot at the tank and it just deflects and shoots off, and it just pew! Like I was like, I want that in my movie. So here it was just supposed to, like, originally it was just supposed to hit and just not do damage. But then I was like, the better way to show that is to just show the deflection. And so I was very happy to add that in.
Reload me!
Reloading you!
Enabling backup thrusters. Contact imminent.
You're hot!
Firing!
Let's move in! Go! Go!
I really like this shot. One of my friends was like, just pointed it out as like, that shot is like, it sticks out in my mind. Also, this is the giant automaton ship that has been teased a number of times. But I thought it'd be cool to make it like part of the structure here.
I'll get up there.
Copy that. We'll meet up with you as soon as we can.
Silly little production note. So there were basically from like this point onwards, Eagle One was supposed to have her helmet off, because I was like, well, the reason she would probably have the Drone Master helmet is probably because it's an aid for flying Eagle One. That's kind of my excuse for having it. Is, you know, she could switch like cameras and kind of be in sync with what the aircraft was doing. And so at this point she was supposed to be taking the helmet off just because it is obviously the most useful when the aircraft is operational. But there were so many issues and like things where I was like, I just don't have time to, and I don't want to deal with the issues of bringing in the character model with the face and everything. I was like, I'm gonna just leave the helmet on. So there is a moment, there's like the one scene towards the end, and I'll kind of point out like a couple little details there, but I kind of made it a point to helmet staying on because it's going to be way easier to render.
You good?
Oh, just fine.
Protect the asset?
No matter the cost.
How are we looking?
Busted. She's not going into the air anytime soon. I can
Also, another underrated shot. Looks very cool in my opinion.
disable the buried guns. At least give us a glorified turret.
Copy that. Let's check out inside. You two, call in the mechs and set up a perimeter.
Copy that.
Stay alert. The enemy will undoubtedly respond to any distress calls.
Let's move.
This is another beautiful music cue. Okay, all right. Nobody has deciphered this yet, so I'll point it out here. It's kind of hard to read just because the flashlight limits the amount that can be seen on it. But I'm gonna give you some more of that movie official backstory lore. Okay. So, once again, if you haven't seen the movie, I don't know why you're here. This is a lot of spoilers. So here's another spoiler warning. Yerg. Okay. So, kind of the thinking with this whole base and the situation behind this door is that this base was liberated from the automatons at one point. Once the Helldivers liberated it, Seif moved in, started their farming program to see if they could accelerate the process of extracting E710 from the bugs. Figured they would do it on this remote base that is largely contained in the side of a mountain, right? They do that, things go awry, they have to evacuate and abandon the base. There's now this problem with these augmented terminids kind of being on the loose. And like Super Earth needs to wipe that out, take care of that. At some point, though, the automatons were like, hey, yo, our base is back up for grabs. We're taking that back. They take it back, and then they find out what's here. And part of them guarding it is to make sure that nothing else can assumedly get out from it. And up here on the text up here in bot speak is the font. That's what the font is called. But it says something to the effect of, if I remember correctly, like evil, keep out, abominations within. And so they know that like whatever was done here never should have been attempted. And that is what that saying is up there. But yeah, just a fun little detail. Of course, the buddy door.
What is this?
Stephen Caves reference. So, Stephen Caves, for anybody who doesn't know, Stephen Caves is a fictional character in the Helldivers universe. He's basically like their version of Bear Grylls, or like Steve Irwin or anything like that. And when we were originally going to release this at the end of October, they had just shown Stephen Caves as a character for the first time. And I was like, I went to our graphic artists and I was like, we need a Stephen Caves poster. I will put it anywhere in the movie. Anywhere like we could afford to put it. I have a couple of shots in mind of where to put it, and this ended up being the winner for where it would end up. But we moved so fast to get a Stephen Caves reference in the film, and this is where it ended up. And even still. Even still, it's like, even though like we delayed the release of the film, it's still like very recent to be adding to a film integrated in a shot, because like that's how late we were rendering things. As is seen with the Hive Lord in the scene that follows this, there is like there are so many of these shots and things where we were just like, if we're going to be this, if animation is this overdue and this over budget, we are putting every reference and every new thing from the game we possibly can in. And so Stephen Caves was one of them. This background, this is some real, nobody will probably ever catch this until I point it out. This is like the sound of the lab is an ambient background noise from Helldivers 1. So that's the bubbly air conditioner noise. And then I suppose another like fun thing just to point out as a little note from just the way that production and everything went down is I knew that, like, especially for battle scenes, we just needed like a lot of general action noise and stuff happening. And so I went into game and I turned off everything but the sound effects, and I just played a few matches and recorded the audio. And so there's a lot of audio in those battle scenes in particular that were that's just game audio playing underneath as part of the background. Everyone's pointed this one out, but yes, there's an Incredibles reference for sure. But another fun fact is it's been changed a little bit. It's been changed a little bit, but this is literally a screenshot of Unreal Engine. And then it's edited just to change some stuff out so it's not so obviously Unreal Engine. But you can even see up here, this is I can't quite make it out, but that's basically like the project name of whichever. It's like our tag name for this is FLHD, for Liberty Helldivers, and then like, you know, has the different things. So I think that says Scene 6 V1 or something like that. So those are little details in there, and then these like little reports are also just like details of to what happened with these specific bug experiments in particular. But yeah, and that's also like, because I just needed like wireframe renders of all of the bugs, and I was like, well, if I just pull up Unreal Engine and I switch it to wireframe, then there you go. That it makes it look all sciencey.
Locked and loaded. This thing should help.
And with these upgraded mechs, the enemy doesn't stand a chance.
Whoa! Are these the new models? Very impressive.
You know it. I liked the Emancipator, but it's a hell of a lot more firepower to throw an autocannon on these bad boys.
Okay, this is another one of those going back to the deep lore. This is another example of Super Earth's running out of money. Because they're now, they via this comment, it is suggesting that the Emancipator doesn't exist anymore, and that they've taken or at least is very severely scaled back in production, and they just started putting autocannons on top of Patriots to appease that. Which putting an autocannon on a Patriot would be pretty cool, Arrowhead. But it's another one of those little nods of Super Earth is running out of the green.
It just makes sense. Democracy never fails.
Nope. Just like those voting machines back home.
Oh man, can you imagine not living in a police state? That would be so unsafe.
We are so lucky to have a government that has our best interests in mind. Unlike those undemocratic factions like the bugs and the bots.
Don't forget the Chaos Divers. Those guys are the most treasonous of all.
Chaos Divers mentioned. Also the voting machines. Those are a couple of Easter eggs all bundled up into one. This shot was also incredibly hard to get to render out of Unreal. It was such a pain in the butt. And there's a ton of artifacting and stuff in it that I'm not super happy about. I tried to use deflicker in DaVinci Resolve to try and clean it up, but it was just kind of a mess. But it is what it is.
Come on, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
This is just like fun little details, but one is the Freedom Froyo sticker here, so she may be sponsored. Her signature right here. And just like this whole interior, the entire interior of Eagle One in our film is based off of what is kind of roughed out in the game, but like the inside of Eagle One in the game just isn't like it's nothing to write home about. It does not look very good. So one of our artists, Danny Langdon, went in and rebuilt the entire interior of Eagle One. And then also recording the mocap for this was incredibly uncomfortable. And I was like, with how uncomfortable that was, it's got to work. And then I realized it was not tight enough because this is Eagle One is the cockpit is incredibly small. So animating and like trying to find a position that looked like realistic, like you could actually, like, if you had to kind of fit in there and work on something, was actually like pretty hard to do. But in the end, it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how it ended up looking. Also, the system to do those hordes was very cool to build out, but was again a problem just to render. And this whole scene in general was such a problem to render. And you can see it back here, that this building back here. And I think at some point the shader for a lot of the Helldivers 2 models, the way that we had the shader set up, I think it was just depreciating after a certain point. Because like this is like a bot fabricator, and it just like rendered as this kind of green goopy mess.
Sweet liberty.
SES Stallion of the Constitution. Suspicions confirmed. This is where the automatons are attempting to bioengineer the Terminids. They intend to frame Seif for this heinous...
If you want to know how last minute that Stephen Caves reference was, it is not on the table in this shot, because I went back in and re-rendered that shot and swapped it out for the Stephen Caves poster, like very last minute.
crime in order to sow distrust among the citizens of Super Earth. Requesting Hellbomb delivery to wipe this abomination of a site from the map.
Request confirmed. Preparing Hellbomb for delivery.
I do want to point out, again, we're getting into the deep lore, but part of the idea was sending the cadet in. If the cadet made it this far, captured all this great footage for our Froyo commercial, and he made it this far, he would probably be naive enough to believe what she just said. So what she said out of self-preservation, he probably would have said because he's that naive. And I think it's a neat way to show like the contrast of these different things, or different characters, I suppose.
Give me liberty or give me death.
Wrap it up in there. We've got company. Several hundred hostiles approaching. Over.
Bugs or bots?
All of the above.
Another example, adding the Hive Lord. There's a Hive Lord, and there's also Terminids from the Rupture strain in here in these shots. And then here as well, there's the War Striders are some of the newest bots in the faction.
What's this doing here? It just landed.
We don't have an escape route to set this thing off.
And comms just went dead again. What a day this is.
Okay. Battle of the Him Republic. We're going to talk about it for a minute. Having this in here was always part of the plan. The Schoolroom singing the Blood Upon the Risers, just Helldiverized. And going back to the first teaser trailer we dropped, having the Battle of the Him Republic be in there. Goodness, my phone is blowing up all of a sudden. I do apologize. Holy moly. What is happening? Let me turn on Do Not Disturb. I have Do Not Disturb on. Why is it? I don't know. It looks like it's done now. But even all the way back to the first teaser, we were starting to tease this as a theme. And the hoes are texting answer. Nah, Mrs. Coalition is not texting me. And she not a hoe. She my main. Another Easter egg. This is something I wanted. It was written in earlier in the script that like the Hellpads would say that they run on an OS called Arrowhead Systems. But it just never like really worked. You never saw like a Hellpad long enough to see that, and so it was added in here instead. Obviously being a nod to Arrowhead Game Studios.
Engage defensive positions. We are holding our ground and taking down as many of them as we can.
But there's no place for extract to land.
Helldivers live forever, my friend.
That's just such a good character art script moment. I'm very proud of that. From compared to like halfway through the film or earlier in the film where, you know, he was kind of anti that whole idea. Here we go. But this Helldiver basically saying like she never expected to live this long. She has dropped in. She dropped in and immediately got on Pelican. And then she went into her first scrimmage and is here and is saying, I never expected to last this long. Is kind of sad.
Better to go out believing in something. For liberty.
That's also a line that a lot of people miss when they don't catch the nuance.
For liberty!
Give him hell.
Okay, here's another thing that was of the utmost importance to me. So many times in movies, you see a timer or something starts, and then there's like a 2-minute timer or even a 30-second timer, and then it's like 5 minutes, and it's like, is this bomb ever gonna go off, right? I did not want that in my film. So in the storyboards, I was very specific about when she arms the hell bomb. There is exactly 30 seconds left until it goes off. No exceptions. So everything was kind of moved and finagled around so that this happens, and exactly 30 seconds later, it goes off. Because I did not want to be one of those movies that shows you a timer and then goes on for like another 90 seconds. It's like, no, show me the timer so I can see how much time is left until I can go to the bathroom, And then, of course, the Arrowhead system thanks you for your patriotism. This is an Astartes reference, Warhammer 40k Astartes reference. Okay, so little thing to note. These shots, and this was probably the grossest I felt making this film. Is all these shots are swapped out from it's a model. It's not even a model swap most of the time. Most of the time it's just a texture swap. Like even the cadet, he's like completely silhouetted in this shot when it's his face, because it's literally just like the same actor. It's just that model without hair, basically. And then when the helmet comes on, that's when the lights kind of come up on that shot. But like for the most part, it's pretty much just swapping the models and just having something on standby to show just like how, like, all right, cutting, like we need to keep pushing product. Just swap out a couple of those shots, make it more inspirational, add this and that, blah, blah, blah. I've dealt with so much of this BS in my career that this is kind of like the peak, like, make it as gross as possible.
In the face of overwhelming odds, she stood unyielding. Against the swarms of enemies, she fought with courage. For every comrade fallen...
Also, just needed to have an FRV added to here. But as you might be able to see here, I don't know if it shows up on YouTube with the compression, but this is the piece, the guy with the peace sign on his helmet, dead in the car. And it's just like very poor taste, out of touch, things like that kind of make it all that much more gross.
She rose again, carrying the torch of liberty. She knew the mission came first. She knew the price of freedom. Yet, she pressed on, undeterred, undaunted, for Super Earth.
Okay, so, and then shots like this are important when we get to the yogurt cup shot. Just because, like, yeah, this is what her breastplate looks like. It's kind of her whole design is the left weighted, which, by the way, is just because I think that looks cool. I made my entire Helldivers cosplay with the left weighted look because I think it's just the coolest variant of the default B01 look.
For all of us, she gave everything. Her story, our legend.
Sweet liberty, I love this stuff.
Also, this is less of like a ooh detail whatever, but this is supposed to be, and like you could kind of see it at the top of the shot. I'm not gonna rewind it because every time I try to rewind on here, it just causes problems because it goes too far. But this is like supposed to be from like Eagle One's like one of the side cameras.
Be like her. Do your part for liberty.
There we go. And there's the special edition design. This was the only thing that got Sumi to finish funding Super Earth's poor financial choices to bail them out. They made this special edition yogurt. And basically, they had to ensure that she was compliant with the narrative, even though she had no idea that any of this was going on. But they needed to make her look as good as possible. What can they get? And then, of course, they jack up the price because it's special edition. Yeah, it's more expensive than the regular. That's the whole idea. It's Sumi trying to recoup the cost that it took to bail out Super Earth, and they killed their best spokesperson, and so they did it this way. So again, it is it's pretty gross, but also just like a little American joke. There are 177.6 or 1776 calories approved for combat readiness in every cup of Freedom Froyo. And there's a whole description on the side here. I can't quite remember what. I think this is still the. This is definitely. I was lazy, and I didn't swap out the description of the blueberry burst flavor, but it's maybe that's another nod. It's literally the same yogurt in a new package sold for 200 more super credits.
Up next, kids, it's time for Squash That Bug, the fun new animated series where junior Helldivers learn to identify, report, and erase.
Okay, and then the heavily debated, but I'll clear it up right here. This is the Thief soldier from that got shot in the middle of the movie. This is the rifle that the kid got signed and it's kind of supposed to be that all encompassed, like, you know, despite all this, the kid is just eating up the propaganda. And the cycle continues. And that is the movie. I'm trying to remember if there's any more little Easter eggs. Aside from the Illuminate, which, like, then this is the Thief Soldier getting sucked up, being put up into space. And that's the movie. So obviously, like, you know, that's the most blatant Easter egg. But yeah. So that's the movie. Those are all the Easter eggs that I can remember. There are a ton of little ones that, like, writers and animators and stuff hid throughout that, like, I am sure I have forgotten about. But those are all the ones that I can remember. So this was a good time, a fun time. I hope that, like, was fun for you as well. Kind of brought some clarity to different things. And, you know, hopefully, you know, maybe we'll get to explore some more. We'll see. But after today, so tomorrow morning, we're releasing the original soundtrack for the film. So it's all the stuff that was originally composed for the film. The only track that's not on there is our terrible singing of Blood on the Risers. I know a couple of people have requested it, but I will not subject you to our tone deaf singing. But all the other tracks are in there. Yeah, so that'll be releasing tomorrow. I'm planning on doing a stream with Hell Hub Official tomorrow, so I'm just going to get confirmation on that. But we're planning on doing that tomorrow night to mess around with the new War Bond and stuff. And yeah. Number 1 hyped on YouTube, which is cool. Consider becoming a member. Actually, if you become a member, you can go listen to the soundtrack right now. It is available for members. But if you just want to wait until it's out tomorrow, hey, just do that too. Okay. Anything else? I don't think so. I thought there was one more thing that I was going to mention, but it is slipped in my mind. So I think I'm going to call it there. It's a good time to go to sleep. But I hope you had fun on this stream. I know I did. You know, and thank you so much for supporting the film. It's so exciting to have it out there. And it's exciting to do a stream like this because it's been under wraps. And I've been holding on to it for so long now. And to have it out is cool. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. There are official subtitles on the YouTube version of this now. So there are subtitles throughout, and those same subtitles are also available in our Discord if you want to create a translated version to add to the film. If you get it translated and then send it to plotcoalition@gmail.com, I'll take a quick look to verify it, but then I can add that as a supported language. Pretty sure with YouTube. So if that's something that you're interested in, those files are available in our Discord. And yeah, I got a helmet in the background. I'll snag it real quick. I'll show you. I have a whole cosplay, but yeah. I haven't broken out the cosplay in a while. Yeah, full helmet. I have a whole thing to keep it on my head better, but there we go. Oh man, it's always so cool to actually put on and wear. There we go. It is kind of, you know, I always feel like I need to talk slower when I put it on. But maybe I'll do the full get up, full cosplay on stream or something soon. But yeah, this is one that I made myself. So I haven't put it on or had it on stream in a while. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to build. Very, very happy with how it turned out. But all right, that's it. Yeah, we will be seeing you guys later and hopefully streaming again tomorrow with Hell Hub Official. So, let you know, and you all have a wonderful, wonderful night. See ya!